I will go ahead and get started. So, hi everyone, and welcome to our Tech at Trent Computer Science live stream. We are so excited to welcome you to our session today. My name is Chloe, and I will be moderating our session. And with me tonight, I have Richard Hurley, who is the chair of the Department of Computer Science. We have Jamie Mitchell, who's the demonstrator system administrator of the Faculty of Computer Science. And then we have Sabine McConnell, who is the professor in the Department of the Computer Science program, as well as Cassandra, who's a student in the computer science program. We have Bryn, our international enrollment advisor, as well as Connor, the manager of admissions, who will be focusing in the chat this evening. So we have a well-rounded team ready and eager to answer any questions you may have about the program or anything about Trent itself. We are very excited for the path you have ahead of you, and we look forward to sharing all of the reasons why Trent is the right choice for your academic future and personal growth. So during this session, if you think of any questions, please feel free to answer them, put them in the chat that's located at the bottom of your screen. And then at the end of the session, we will have a short question and answer time with the members of our panel. So I invite you to add your questions in the chat box, and we'll try to get to as many as possible. So with that being said, Richard, would you like to share your screen and get started with the presentation?
Sure. Thanks so much, Chloe. Before I start, I'd like to, on behalf of the department, welcome everybody. And please, by all means, if you have any questions, absolutely. As Chloe mentioned, we do have a dream team here. I'm a specialist in computer science and software engineering. Dr. McConnell, Sabina, is our expert in data science and artificial intelligence. Jamie basically supports all of our students. And Cassie is one of our students who can hopefully attest to the fact that we do a wonderful job here. So I will give a hopefully short presentation. My intention is not to take up a lot of time, but I certainly do want to introduce you to what we do and who we are and why you should choose us. So I'm going to share my screen, and hopefully, as a computer scientist, I don't fail from the technical side of it, because that would be embarrassing. Okay, yes, it seems that we are sharing properly. So you can see that on the screen, we are welcoming you to Tech at Trent. So this is the IT side of Trent. So we are looking at a number of things here, but really what we mean by Tech at Trent is the following. We are basically providing options for our students in computer science, data science, software engineering, and artificial intelligence. So it's kind of the four major streams of what we do. There are others that we do, but I will talk about a little later on. But these are the four that I think most people are really interested in. But certainly, if there's something you read somewhere, someplace, and you want to ask questions about it, again, we have a wonderful team here able to answer these questions for you. So, why choose these areas? And this is really very interesting because you can have an opportunity to make a really big difference. So, for example, when you think about the world as it is and as it was, we have people like Jeff Bezos, who created Amazon. And for those that don't understand or don't know the history of Amazon, Amazon started as an online bookstore around 1999, 2000. And certainly it still sells books, but it does a lot more. And as you know, Jeff Bezos is one of the richest people in the world, but he had an idea and he, as a tech person, was able to see it to fruition. Another example is Bill Gates and Microsoft. Bill certainly outdates Jeff. Bill started in the 1970s, but again, Microsoft was turned into a trillion-dollar company. Steve Jobs and Apple's kind of battled with Bill Gates for supremacy in the 70s, 80s, 90s. Yeah, they've not certainly through their computers and laptops, but certainly through their other tech gear, Apple's turned into a very profitable. Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg, again, same idea. Mark had an idea as an undergraduate student at Harvard and turned it into a multi-billion-dollar company. Google with Sergey Brin, and Larry Page, again, had an idea, turned it into a trillion-dollar company. Shopify. Now, I'm including Shopify on the list, not that it's a trillion-dollar company, but it's a Canadian company. Tobias Lutke is actually a transplanted Canadian, but their main offices are in Waterloo and Ottawa. So it's a billion-dollar company, and it's headed by Canadians. James Gosling, University of Toronto, invented the programming language Java. Didn't end up making $1 billion on it, but certainly his programming language has had a big impact on what we do in the programming world. Brian Kernighan, Unix, and this is way back to the 1960s and 70s, but Unix was a forerunner of what you're seeing out there today in terms of system software. Unix basically ended up creating or ended up leading to Linux. And again, Brian Kernighan was a Canadian. And finally, something that just happened very recently, deep learning, the area that's kind of the foundational area of artificial intelligence. Jeffrey Hinton, University of Toronto professor, received the Nobel Prize just in 2024 for his work in deep learning. So Nobel Prize in physics. So again, the last four are Canadians. We're not shut out. So certainly all you need is an idea, and then you can take it forward. Why Trent? Well, I'd like to say that we provide value added to what we do. We're really the faculty that we hired, and I'm really, really old. I've been around for 34 years. I had a hand in hiring everybody in my department. Um, we look for people that are passionate about teaching and research. So it's not, you're getting the best of both worlds here. We have excellent teachers and we have excellent researchers in our program. We are accessible, unlike large universities. If you want access to your instructors, you don't have to go through a myriad of TAs. You basically reach out to your instructors, and we're empathetic for sure. Why Trent? Well, it's a university that places an emphasis on student satisfaction. We're #1 in the Maclean's ranking for student satisfaction. Students like it. And again, for much what we just talked about a minute ago, which the faculty and staff here are passionate about teaching, we want to help students. It's very important. Another thing that I think makes our university a bit different is that we encourage cross-disciplinary studies. We encourage the idea of joint majors. So if you like computer science, but you're not passionate about it, but you like biology and computer science, then you can create a joint major. So some of the examples of joint majors that involve our programs are ideas like, well, computer science and biology, the idea of bioinformatics. It's a big deal. I mean, this is what led computing technology is what led us to be able to map the genome, which obviously has led to real breakthroughs in treating diseases and medical science. Another example is computer science and business. Our biggest joint major is with the business department, where people who are going to be systems analysts need to know the business side of the world, but they also need to know the tech side of the world. So they do a joint major between the two of them. We'll talk a little bit more about joint majors later on. Computer science and chemistry. I mean, this has been a real boom to the pharmaceutical industry to be able to actually create drugs that are earmarked for particular diseases like cancer. And again, it's a result of using really more data science, more machine learning and deep learning, but obviously you need to understand chemistry to be able to produce the drugs that target certain areas like uh, cancer cells. We're not just limited to the sciences. We end up with a number of joint majors that also work with the arts programs as well, like English. Uh, Again, a large group of our joint majors like to match computer science and English, and really it creates a real great opportunity in technical writing. So computer scientists create the software, but they need to be able to present it in a fashion that's readable to the general public. So another example of a joint major. And then finally, kind of where we led to in terms of data science, it's basically a mixture of computer science and statistics which leads us to the area of data science. But Dr. McConnell can talk a lot more about this area than I can. Okay, so we have two campuses at Trent. We have a Peterborough campus, which is our main campus. It's where Trent was actually born. Well, gosh, as long as I've been at Trent, so for over 30 years, we've also been offering courses down in Oshawa. We call it the Durham GTA campus. And over the last 4 or 5 years, we've grown quite a large program down there. Hundreds of students are down at the Durham campus, but still, Peterborough's our main campus. So what I thought I would do, because they're not carbon copies of each other, so what I thought we would do here is kind of present the offerings that we have at the Peterborough campus, and then follow it up with the Durham campus. And we're certainly qualified to talk about both campuses for any questions that may arise from that. So at the Peterborough campus, we actually offer both a BSc, a Bachelor of Science, as well as a Bachelor of Arts. So both these programs are available. Now, within each of these science and arts, we have different offerings. So for example, under the Bachelor of Science, we offer computer science. I mean, Bachelor, we do a general degree, which is a 15 credit degree, which is a 3-year degree, and we also do an honors degree. Now, the honors degree, the one marked with the asterisk here, is actually available in the co-op option as well. So within a Bachelor of Science, honors in computer science, you have choices for specializations if you want to. There's no requirement to do a specialization, but basically what a specialization is, it's built on top of an honors degree. So it's really 7, 8, 9 credits or courses you'd have to take um, as part of your Bachelor of Science honors degree to be able to qualify for these specializations. So the three specializations we have are theoretical computer science, which we recommend for students interested in going off to do grad school, basically to do what myself and Dr. McConnell do in terms of research. And so it provides that theoretical background to be able to excel in grad school. Software engineering and data analytics are really options for students who want to hit the workforce really quickly. Software engineering, I don't think requires any further information, but data analytics, data science is kind of a relatively newer in the last 15 years, but really it's a matter of trying to tease information from the data, and lots of opportunities there. We also offer a full BSc honors degree in data science. And this is something that just started in 2023. So we've just had our first intake of students in 2023. So they're just working their way through the system. So it's a full honors degree in data science. We also have one in computing and physics. And this is the closest we actually get to computer engineering. Trent is not an engineering school. I'll clarify that in a minute with software engineering, but it's the closest you can get to the machine level understanding. It involves quantum computing and a lot of physics courses, but it's what we kind of market as the computer engineering. And then finally, under the BSc honors, we also have software engineering. And again, it's marked with an asterisk because it's a co-op degree. We're one of the 2 universities in Ontario which offer a software engineering degree within a science faculty. Most software engineering degrees are offered within a faculty of engineering. Ours is offered within the faculty of science because we don't have a faculty of engineering. But all the courses that require, and again, this is from the ACM curriculum, as well as the Canadian Information Processing Society, we meet all the requirements to offer a software engineering degree. Under the BA side, we have computing systems, and really it's a joint major or general degree that allows students to not take the math courses. We do end up with a number of students saying, I really like programming, but I don't like math. So the BA Computing Systems degree, and we call it computing systems just to differentiate it from computer science, which obviously involves the science, which obviously involves some math as well. So we have the computing systems degree, a BA version. You can take all the same courses you take as a computer science student, but you don't have to take the math courses. Now, there are some upper year courses that do require math. So, I mean, a student doing the BA computing systems that doesn't like math, wanting to take a course in computer graphics, may struggle because computer graphics is based on calculus. You need to know ordered partial differential equations to be able to do it properly. So you may struggle for certain courses, but the vast majority of our upper year courses don't have a heavy requirement on math. Information systems is a joint major and general degree that we offer in connection or in conjunction with the School of Business. And it really, going back to our joint majors, as I mentioned, it's our most popular joint major, and it involves a number of business courses and a number of computer science courses that creates this kind of information systems analyst course. We also offer a number of minors. Now, a minor would be a student that's majoring in another department, say forensic science, say business, say English, that wants to get some tech on their transcript. So we have a couple of three different options. A computing systems option where you just take 10 courses in our department, or more directed minors like data analytics, which obviously you take courses in the data science world, like data visualization, data mining, machine learning, etc., that kind of give you at least a good understanding of data analytics, and then information systems for a student doing a major in math, maybe want to do some more business and computer science courses. And that would be our information systems minor. So the majors basically require typically 12 or 13 credits, which is 24 or 26 courses. And the minors require 10. If you're doing a joint major, you're typically doing maybe 15 courses in each of the two disciplines that you want to joint major in. A lot of information, my apologies, but certainly we are happy to answer questions about it. So this is what we offer on our Peterborough campus. On our Durham GTA campus, we offer the BSc and the BA. So this will go a bit quicker because a lot of it is repetitive. We do offer a computer science degree, a BSc honors computer science. We also offer a general degree, a 3-year degree down there. The computer science degree that we currently offer at Durham is not a co-op degree. We are working on a co-op degree for computer science program down in Durham, where a student would do it after, I'll talk about co-op in a minute, but where a student would do 3 years and then do a co-op year between their third and fourth year. And that paperwork, that proposal is in the works, and we should be able to get it through Senate this year. So we do offer a BSc honors computer science. And we have 2 of these specializations that are available down at Durham, simply because we don't have the courses down there to offer data analytics, but theoretical computer science and software engineering specializations can be done in Durham. The big one now, the new one that's going to be starting in 2025, is we have a BA, BSc in artificial intelligence. Now, it's a degree that's has a lot of computer science in it, but it also has philosophy courses in it. It has psychology courses. It has a few business courses, but it does obviously hit on the major areas of artificial intelligence, like deep learning, like large language models, i.e. ChatGPT. It does involve a lot of programming as well. It does involve data mining, data visualization courses. So it's a mix of data science, software engineering, and basically computer science as well. And it is a co-op degree. Under the BA side, we offer artificial intelligence, and then we also offer computing studies as well. I didn't include it there because we talked about it in the previous page. Well, actually, I did include it there. I'm much more intelligent than I thought. Computing systems is also offered as a BA degree, either as a joint major or a general degree. Information systems, like we talked about in the previous slide, is also there as well. And we offer the same 3 minors down at Durham. Now, a student who's registered at Durham can take Peterborough courses if they're willing to drive up there and take them. Or similarly, a student doing Peterborough who's based in Peterborough can also take Durham courses. There's no restriction where you can go take courses, for sure. Obviously, if the courses are being offered in person, and you have labs associated with it, you have to physically be there to be able to take it. And it's about a 50-minute drive, so it's not something you want to be commuting back and forth daily, but it is possible if you're trying to pick up one course and that one course is only taught in one day, you could certainly make it happen. We do offer a number of web courses, online courses that obviously both students at both campuses could take. And we do offer a number of remote synchronous courses. That is where the actual courses are delivered online. So they're actually lectures where it's a real person talking. And again, students at both campuses can take these courses. Exams are offered at both locations. So we try to provide a number of options where students can actually mix and match across the two campuses. So with respect to co-op, we have the three degrees that offer co-op. We have the BSc Honors Computer Science in Peterborough. That's a direct entry program. That is, you have to apply from high school to get into this. It's a limited number of students that are able to get into it. Right now, the number is 25. We keep the number reasonably manageable so we can find obviously the placements for these students. We are, as I mentioned, we are looking at the BSc Honors Computer Science degree is an accelerated program. What that means is that a student in the computer science co-op program at Trent in Peterborough would basically do their first three terms as academic terms and their fourth term as a work term. So really, if you start in 2025, fall 2025, your first work term would be fall 2026. Why it's accelerated? Because these students are doing a number of courses in the summer to be prepared to do their co-op in the fall. So it's coming at students quite quickly, and students in their first year are doing third year courses again they have the prerequisites for them. We're not bringing them in unprepared, but they are taking some computer science courses at an accelerated pace. But the nice thing about our computer science co-op accelerated program is students are able to finish it in 4 years. A traditional co-op degree requires 5 years, and we're able to get the students out in 4 years with 3 work terms in those 4 years. The one that we're talking about is more the standard regular co-op that we're looking to get in place in Durham, where a student does 3 years of academic, 1 year of co-op or internship, followed by 1 year, their final year. So it ends up being a 5-year program. Our BSc Honors Software Engineering is entirely co-op. That is only students that come into this program are all going to be co-op students. And it's set up, as I just mentioned, where a student does 3 years of academic study. Their fourth year would be a co-op where they're doing 2 work terms, three 4-month work terms, an 8-month work term, and a 4-month work term, or a 12-month internship. These are all possibilities. We just started the Honors Software Engineering Co-op program. This is the first year, so it started in fall 2024. And the BSc Artificial Intelligence, which is currently offered at our Durham GTA. It's also co-op. It's also the 5-year program where you do 3 years academic, 1 year co-op, and then the final year. The co-op component to it, again, is a limited number of students. Again, it's 25 students. That being said, we will take as many students as we can into the BSc Artificial Intelligence, but only 25 of them will be co-op students. And the same thing's true with our BSc Honors Computer Science. You're either in the co-op version of it or you're in the regular version of it. And we have 25 spaces in the co-op version of it. And the same thing's true with the BSc Artificial Intelligence. We have a regular version of it where we take students as long as they have the entrance average, and we have 25 places in the co-op version. Why would you want to do co-op? Again, I think it speaks for itself. You gain practical experience on the job. You actually work with people. A lot of our students that have done co-op placements end up working for the companies afterwards. Really, it's like a 4-month or 8-month job interview. is what we're doing there. So a student goes there, they excel. It's a really good probability they're going to end up working there if they want to when they're done. You learn from mentors and tutors. I mean, some of the larger companies really do take a lot of co-op students in, and you're working with other co-op students to create software, and you're also working under the tutelage of a mentor, somebody who is really versed at taking these students. You can earn some money. Co-op placements are paid, and that will certainly help reduce some student debt. One of the big things about co-op is you have to do a write-up after each work term. You have to submit a report and do a presentation. So you're working on your communication and presentation skills. And again, certainly for the company that you're working for, I'm sure you're going to be doing a lot of write-ups for whatever software you actually created. But the university also requires you to do a write-up, basically an executive summary of what you did during your co-op. So that's the co-op options that we have at Trent in our computer science department. And here are some of our more recent co-op employers. I'm not going to go through them. This is not an exhaustive list. This is just a list that we created, I think, probably last year, so it's probably out of date. But you can see some big companies in there: TD Bank, PepsiCo, obviously Pepsi, Ontario Power Generation. Certainly, as we start offering co-op through our BSc BA Artificial Intelligence degree in Durham, we're going to get a lot more co-op employers as well. Uh, Probably 50% of our co-op placements are local within, an hour. But certainly students may have to go to Waterloo or Ottawa um, to do a co-op placement. Again, depends where the jobs end up, where you end up accepting. So that's the end of my presentation. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. I won't delete, I won't delete the presentation. I'll keep it live. So if anybody has any questions, you want me to go back to a particular slide, I can certainly do that. But I'm going to stop sharing it for now, just to see if my colleagues have anything they'd like to add to the presentation. Please, Sabina.
Yeah, so thank you, Richard. That was a very comprehensive overview, and I think you outlined really nicely how flexible the options are if you were to join Trend. I think this is one of our strengths. There is something for everybody. We
Mhm.
have so many different versions of the programs, and I'm sure that you can find something that's tailored to your needs. And if you're not sure, come and talk to us. We can guide you along, and there's ways to switch between not all of them, but some of them. And one of the main strengths too is for most of them is that you don't have to decide right away. You can come try things out and see how it goes. But that doesn't apply to all of them, so take that with a grain of salt. But the key point for Trent for me is that it's always been really flexible when it comes to the students.
Yeah, for sure. And even with our co-op, even though we have 25 positions or placements or spaces available, we actually end up getting students in, and then after their fall term, they decide they don't want to be in the co-op program anymore. So we actually are able to take students into the co-op program typically in the January after the first year. Spaces are available, and we send out uh, basically queries to our first and second year students, seeing if they want to join the co-op program. And there's typically 2 or 3 or 4 places available for students to join. So even if you don't get in to the co-op program initially, you can certainly, there's a possibility of being able to join it after the fact, after you get here. Jamie, do you want to talk about student labs and
Fix my thing. Trying not to cough in everybody's ear. Uh, so yeah, sure. As Richard said earlier, I'm the department lab administrator, or one of the department lab administrators. So I run a lot of the labs that we run for our courses, and a lot of our courses, particularly the programming heavy courses, have practical labs where really the intention of the lab is to give you an opportunity to practice the things that you're being taught in class in an environment where it's really easy for you to get help if something goes wrong. We want to sort of encourage everybody to learn their programming practices in the most friendly way possible. So you complete a series of tasks in a room where myself and one of the other lab demonstrators, often an undergraduate assistant or a graduate assistant, is there to answer questions, to explain concepts that you didn't get in lecture, or to help you debug, to problem solve and figure out what you've done wrong. Generally, I found that that works really well for students in terms of making it easy to practice those concepts the first time, so that then when they go to do an assignment a little bit later on, they've got that example to fall back on to let them have somewhere to start and an idea of what they're doing. So I think that the practical aspect of the labs that we offer contributes a lot to the sort of general overall learning of computer science as well. It gives students, and the labs are relatively small. So our lab space seats 30. So you might have some big classes. There might be 150 or 180 or 100 students in your class, but in the lab, you're only going to sit with 30. And so it gives you a chance to get to know some of your other classmates and to get a little bit of hands-on work in an environment where you are very close to the people who can answer your questions, and there's not a lot of people demanding attention. So the small lab sizes and the available help, I think, is something that really contributes to a positive learning environment in particularly computer science at Trent. That what
Thank
you were
you,
looking
Jamie.
for, Richard?
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm looking for, Jamie. So well said. But you did raise an interesting point. We do hire a lot of students, a lot of undergraduate students. I think Cassie can confirm that we do hire students to mark assignments. We hire students to work in labs. Yeah, we do hire a lot of undergrads. Cassie, do you want to talk about your experiences a bit?
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of been all over the place with computer science. I'm an academic assistant right now for an operating systems course in one of Jamie's front end web dev. I'm in the Bachelor of Science honors co-op, so like I have a little bit of idea about everything that kind of goes on. I found that like what Jamie said, like the labs and how small they are, and also like getting help from someone who's already done it like previously, like having an undergrad person, like they know the kind of struggles that you've been through that maybe a professor who's been working the course for like years like might not know at that time. So they're like, oh yeah,
Mhm.
I remember struggling with that. So like I got you for this. And that was really helpful. Also with the co-op, I know like 25 might seem like a small number, but I started it was 11, but that small number, like the accelerated program, how fast you go, you have the same courses with the same people. You create like bonds with these people, and they also help you get co-ops. Like you also help with the same courses, and with the like small class sizes, you get to know like really well the professors, and especially if there's not something that maybe you saw that like interests you, even though there's a lot of options, there's so many different professors have so many different research interests. You can also go out of your way and talk to them, and they're always more than willing to help. I found like every professor I've reached out to learn more about a content has been more than willing to send me like their research or to point me to someone who could help learn. So I think everything that goes on at Trent is just very interconnected and very helpful, especially as a student. I found that my like for the past 4 years, I've learned so much.
Thank you, Cassie.
Cassie, can I
Chloe.
put you on the spot and ask you a question?
Yeah, of course.
So this is the Trent Advantage live stream. We're talking with future students who are wondering if Trent is for them. Can I ask you why you chose Trent and why you found it the way it is, why you think computer science here was the program for you?
Yeah, I mean, for me personally, I was kind of terrified for university. I know I was going from like a small high school to like a big university where I didn't really think I was gonna know anyone. And I remember reading on like Trent's website, like the small, like specifically like small class size. I was like, oh, like I think that might be for me. And I also knew that there was two campuses, the Durham and Peterborough. And me personally, I'm from Durham. And I know Richard said earlier, you must be crazy to drive 50 minutes, but I drive to Peterborough every day for 4 years from Durham. And like I've liked it. I've liked the drive. And I like the fact that I can, if I have courses that are at Durham, I can stay in Durham. So half my week is in Peterborough, half is at Durham. I've gotten kind of the best of both worlds. So I liked the flexibility and like the help that I get from all my professors and everything. So that was why I chose it.
That's awesome. Yeah, and I think that speaks a lot to many of our programs here. They're so flexible, very interdisciplinary, and it's just people like you who make other students want to go to Trent. So I really love that you shared that. Thank you. I would love to open the Q&A to anyone who may have questions. Please feel free to write them in the chat. If not, I do have other questions that I could quiz you guys on. So we talked about co-op. Um, Co-op's very popular for students. A lot of them are interested in doing co-op. Do we know any students who are currently doing a co-op and what that kind of looks like for them? Any interesting stories or success stories within the co-op?
Well, I can tell you from past co-ops,
Yeah.
we actually had a couple of students that did co-ops through a company called FreshBooks. And FreshBooks is an online accounting service. And now these, well, actually, I think it's three past co-op students are basically running the company now. They've excelled it to a point that they are pretty high up in the company now, and it's through their co-op placements. As I said, they were there, they made a difference. The employer saw that, and yeah, it led to very successful placements for them. We've had students that have done co-op placements at Shopify that still work there. And Shopify is something I mentioned earlier. Basically, it's creating online commercial market websites. Shopify is a big company, and again, we've had students that have gone there, done really well, and end up working there full time afterwards.
Awesome.
Just to add to that, Richard, too, something that's worth mentioning probably is not all placements have to be in this area.
No.
I mean, our recruitment people generally find placements in this area. But for example, a couple of years ago, we actually had a student who did a placement at Google Mexico because she was at home. And so students often can attract their own placement. And as long as the university approves that
Yeah,
as a valid placement in the field, then they can actually do placements that are in other locations as well.
that's a good point, Jamie. Thank you.
I know from some of people like in my year and the year above that I've met in co-op who like again, like they've gone to Ottawa. I've known a bunch of people that me personally as well. I worked in Ottawa for like 8 months out of my like 1 year kind of co-op to a 12-month co-op. And I know a lot of people are going back there like post jobs. Like I know someone who was going to work at Sienna now, like did a co-op there twice and now works there. Um, and I know another person, even if you're not in co-op, there's the internship course.
Yeah.
Well, and I know someone who started with that internship and then got on to like an actual job with them right after, like, and continued working with them while also being in school. So like, there's a lot of opportunities to continue working.
That's true. That's a really good point, Cassie, that we also have an internship course where a student can work for academic credit, not for pay, with a company. And as Cassie mentioned, so all they're doing it for academic credit in the one term, they're actually hired part-time afterwards to continue what they're doing. And then, as Cassie mentioned, it's led to full-time employment when they're done. So even though it wasn't co-op, it's a really great opportunity for experiential learning, and it leads to full-time employment when you're done.
Awesome. We actually do have a few questions that came from that in the chat, which is amazing. Someone is asking how long we've had the co-op program and do we offer 100% placements?
We started our co-op program in fall 2018. So we're late to the game with respect to co-op, but we were the first co-op program at Trent. And we've kind of led the way for all the other co-ops that have been created after us. When we created our co-op, we actually went around and visited tech firms in Southern Ontario to see kind of what they were looking for in terms of a co-op student, and we tailored uh, our courses to what the student needs. So when we talk about accelerated, we're accelerated to take these courses so students are prepared to do their first co-op. We have about a 75 to 80% placement rate for our co-ops. It's still a competitive process. You are applying, you're not guaranteeing a job. So if you don't get a co-op placement in your first attempt, you try for the winter after your first year. So at any one time, 75 to 80% would be the success rate of co-op placements. As we start kind of delving into the Oshawa area, I think there's going to be certainly a rise in co-op opportunities because of that particular area being so close to the GTA and a lot of tech firms in that area.
Just to add to that, I think it's been mostly the case that the ones that were unsuccessful wanted to stay in Peterborough for sure, and weren't flexible enough to go elsewhere and get experience with bigger companies outside the town. So it's sometimes also a choice, and not just I couldn't find a placement. Yeah.
You know, we had an issue when we were Canadian Border Services and was looking for co-ops, and again, it involved actually going to Ottawa, and we had some students that didn't want to go to Ottawa, create the expense of finding a place to live in Ottawa. So yeah, I think it's student driven sometimes, the success rate for the co-op placements.
Thank you. We have a question asking what kind of jobs are given to co-op science students. I'm not too sure if you guys mean computer science students, but maybe we can go with that. What kind of jobs do computer science students end with after graduation? Correct me if I'm wrong, if you were the one answering that or asking that question.
Well, it depends on the company really as to what they're going to be doing. Typically, software development is probably a large area where students do find employment. But software development could be web development, it could be creating apps, it could be, I mean, software development is such a broad area. It could be doing data analysts for a company. It really depends on the company, but yeah, the students are getting jobs.
Databases, networks. There's lots of fields that that this degree applies to.
Yeah.
Thank you. Someone is asking if they don't get into the co-op, do you finish your degree faster? What do I do if I don't get into the co-op?
Well, I did mention a bit earlier, but obviously I wasn't clear, so my apologies for that. If a student is applying for the accelerated Bachelor of Science Honors Computer Science Co-op and they don't get in, there is a possibility for them actually to join the co-op program in the winter term of their first year. Again, there's going to be some placements, some places available simply because the co-op program is not for everyone. It's accelerated. Students are expected to pick up material a bit quicker than your typical student. That's why we have cut off of 80 for our co-op students. But a student who is doing the co-op, the accelerated co-op versus the regular computer science, there's no time difference. It still takes 4 years to do them. Now, if the student is asking about the BA, BSc Artificial Intelligence, then yeah, you'd save a year if you didn't do co-op because it's a 5-year program. The co-op version in our Durham, as well, our software engineering is also a 5-year. So if a student was not doing the co-op version of it, they'd end up with a 4-year degree. But our software engineering degree is strictly co-op. So every student that gets an offer for the BSc software engineering, it will be a co-op. They're expected to do co-op.
Thank you. Again, Cassandra, I'm gonna put you on the spot because we don't get a student often on these, and I feel like your voice can be so, so good for
For
this program
sure.
that I have. What are some cool, popular courses that you've taken that you're like, these are my favorite, I love these, just to kind of entice students to want to take the program?
I was actually like,
Well, I assume it's first year programming with Richard.
oh yeah. That's like very subjective for what people are interested in because I know a lot of people really love Jamie's web development courses, like really love it, especially how it's structured, how she teaches it. Like I love Jamie's courses, but I really got into like systems programming and operating systems. So those two courses were like stuck in my mind and the ones I love a lot. But I also know some of my friends as well really love the algorithm courses, like going from 1020 to even 2020, which is the data structures 2. So Richard teaches the like intro to programming, and then there's data structures 2, and there's data structures 3, and then like in fourth year there's an advanced algorithms. And I know like some people like really love that. It really just depends on what people are interested in. Me personally, I was really into the operating systems and systems programming courses, which I thought were awesome, by the way.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's good to know you can take a variety of different courses within the program and kind of choose what you're interested in. So that's awesome. We're kind of nearing the end. Does anyone have any final questions they would like to ask? Any burning final thoughts? While if you're thinking or typing your questions, I just wanted to remind you folks about some key important dates that are coming up. Open houses, our spring open houses are coming pretty fast. So our Peterborough open house is on March 14th and our Durham campus open house is on March 1st. We also do offer campus tours 6 days a week. So if you want to come see the campus for yourself, you can kind of see me and Richard have the background of a few of our key spots on campus. It's so beautiful. Come see it for yourself. We always tell students once you step 2 foot on campus, you can really see if you can see yourself studying here. So please come visit us at both our Peterborough and our Durham campus. We also will be, the session is recorded as well as all of our previous Trent Advantage live streams. They will be posted on our YouTube channel. So if you ever want to go back, share it with your friends, please feel free to do that. Also, our enrollment advisors, so me, Bryn, and a lot of other folks do have one-on-one booking. So if you guys have any questions about admission requirements or like life at Trent, all that fun stuff, please feel free to book an appointment with us. And then finally, if you're considering residence, I just wanted to add that the residence application will open on February 5th. So if that's something that you're looking into, moving away, living in residence, and living on one of our colleges, please, that is a deadline or not the deadline, not yet. That is when applications will open for residence. Um, I do see someone in the chat. How can we get a copy of courses required to complete a degree? That is through our academic calendar.
Mhm.
Bryn, if you could real quick copy and paste that for that student, that would be amazing.
I would like to say also to the participants, if you have any questions about the courses, the degrees, whatever, please feel free to reach out to myself or Dr. McConnell, Sabina, and we'd be happy to answer your questions. Certainly, we share whatever information we have. And also, based on Chloe and my background, you see it never snows in Peterborough.
Clearly.
We're under a dome.
I wish. What is the best like email to reach out? Is there like your personal email or
Yep.
yeah,
Our Hurley at trentu.ca
perfect.
or
And
Sabina McConnell at trentu.ca. It's my first initial because I've been around so long. This is before they actually required to go to full name. So it's R. Hurley and Sabina McConnell are the two that would be great to provide you some more information.
Both
perfect.
their email addresses are on the department website.
Yeah.
So trentu.ca/COIS.
Amazing. And if you ever get lost or need their contact, discover@trentu.ca or discoverdurham@trentu.ca. Please reach out to them as well. they will always answer and share the info with the right department that you're looking to ask questions to. Okay, well, there's no other questions. So with that being said, thank you again to everyone who joined our session this evening. Thank you to our amazing panelists. It was so great to learn so much more about the computer science program. I swear, I feel like I learn something new every time. So thank you guys so much for joining us. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out. So have a good night, everyone.